Many people believe that lifting light weights with high reps mainly improves muscle endurance and doesn't do much for muscle growth. On the other hand, it's been widely accepted for years that lifting heavier weights with low to moderate reps is the best way to build muscle. But to see if this view is right or not, let's check out the research on this and figure out which approach is better for muscle growth. A lot of the early research on this topic was done by Stuart Phillips and his team. In their 2012 study, they had 18 guys train their legs on the leg extension machine 3 times a week for 10 weeks. They were divided into 3 groups. Group 1 did 3 sets at 30% of their 1 RM, with 30 to 40 reps per set. Group 2 did 1 set at 80% of their 1 RM, with 10 to 12 reps per set. Group 3 did 3 sets at 80% of their 1 RM, with 10 to 12 reps per set. So, in this graph, it's clear that quadriceps growth was almost identical in groups 1 and 3. That means both the light and heavy weight groups gained nearly the same amount of muscle when the volume was the same. This was a pretty interesting finding at the time, but it got a lot of criticism, especially because they used untrained beginners. Since beginners respond to pretty much any workout and still grow, that might be the main reason for the results in this study. Now, let's review the research conducted on trained individuals. Phillips and his team conducted a similar study in 2016. But this time with 49 men who had an average of 4 years of weightlifting experience. Their method was similar to the previous study, but this time they used a full-body resistance training program. What's the results? Once again, it turned out that the weight doesn't matter for muscle growth. Whether you lift light or heavy, your muscles grow the same. Also, both methods led to similar growth in type I and type 2 muscle fibers, even though it's usually thought that this growth depends on weight. But keep in mind, it's still not exactly clear whether fiber growth is actually weight-dependent, since studies in this area have shown mixed results. After this study, many other studies and a large meta-analysis were done, and they all came to the same conclusion. If training volume is the same and sets are taken close to failure, it doesn't matter whether you lift light or heavy, muscle growth will be the same. If you've enjoyed this video so far, we'd love for you to subscribe to the Fit Science channel. Alright, let's dive into the rest of this topic. Going by this, you might think that lifting light weights is just as effective as heavy weights and that there's no real advantage to going heavy. But there are still a few things to consider. If we're looking at strength, this meta-analysis of 8 relevant studies shows that heavy weights generally work better for building strength. And in the long run, I think this could lead to better muscle growth compared to lighter weights. Keep in mind that in these studies, they push to near failure no matter the weight used. Training to failure with high reps is way harder than with low reps and heavy weights because of the increased metabolic stress. In fact, some of the people using light weights ended up throwing up after high rep sets. So again, in the long run, it's not really practical to stick to light weights and high reps because training to failure with higher reps just isn't enjoyable, especially with compound movements. So let's see how you can use this in your workouts to grow your muscles even more. 2 of the most important factors for muscle growth are mechanical tension and metabolic stress. These 2 are always competing during your workout, meaning if one increases, the other usually decreases. When you lift heavier weights, your muscles go under more pressure. But if you use lighter weights and do more reps, your muscles get more stressed in terms of metabolism. That's probably why using light or heavy weights leads to about the same muscle growth, as long as the total workout volume is the same. Each one works your muscles in a different way, but in the end, they both lead to the same result, muscle growth. So, if you want your muscles to grow the most, it's a good idea to include both muscle growth methods in your workouts. Since heavy weights are better for building strength and putting more tension on your muscles, and they're easier to push close to failure. Improving your strength in heavy compound lifts should be the foundation of your long-term training. As Brad Schoenfeld, a well-known expert in muscle growth, mentioned, pump-style training with lighter weights, higher reps, and shorter rest periods can actually be a powerful trigger for muscle growth, and it works really well alongside your heavy compound lifts. So, after you finish your main heavy lifts, it's a good idea to add in some lighter accessory work with higher reps. That way, you're hitting your muscles from different angles and taking advantage of all the ways your body can build muscle. You can do this with things like drop sets, reverse pyramid sets, or even just a few sets of 25, 40 reps close to failure at the end of your workout.